Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be giving KKW Beauty another try. We're going to be playing with the corrector, concealer, and the baking powder, the brightening powder, but we're not going to be doing the things that we did in my first video. So if you haven't watched that video, in my first video, which is a couple of videos back, I followed Kim Kardashian's under eye routine. Didn't work very well. I didn't like the way that it looked. It lessened coverage and it just felt really heavy and dry underneath the eyes. However, the concealer, before I did all the baking and all of that, it looked really good underneath the eyes. So we're gonna give it another go in this video, but I'm going to test these products out my way. So we're not gonna be doing the baking and all of that. Now I decided in this video, I'm gonna be wearing the concealer two different ways. So I'm gonna wear it over here on the left with everything that comes along with KKW Beauty, like everything that it's supposed to go with, which is the corrector, the baking powder I'm not gonna use to bake, I'm just gonna use to set, and then maybe do a little bit of brightening with the brightening powder over here. On this side, I am going to wear the concealer with my favorite corrector, which is the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector, and I'm gonna be setting it the way that I normally would set my concealers, which is with my Fenty Pro Filter Setting Powder. I really like that one, or my Pat McGrath. Not really sure which one I'm gonna go with today, but that's how I'm going to test it out for today. That way we give the concealer more than one opportunity to come through, right? To deliver great coverage all day long. We'll see. So before we get started, I'm gonna prep my under eye area. This has been like my most favorite part of my under eye routine, my new under eye routine. So I'm just taking a little bit of setting spray. I sprayed it onto the back of my hand, and now I'm just going to apply it underneath the eyes. So this is the KKW Beauty corrector number 3. This is number 2, and this is my Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. This one looks a lot like this one, so I think I'm gonna use 2. I'm gonna use 2 underneath the eyes. In my last video, I used both, and honestly, when I first applied the concealer, I didn't really think that there was much of a difference, like using 2 versus using 3. So I'm gonna stick with 2 because it is very much like my Becca Under Eye Brightening corrector shade, which this one is in medium to deep. I really love using that one underneath the eyes because I feel like it helps neutralize the under eye area without making it a completely different color. Like if you have my complexion or if you're similar to me, I personally feel like we don't need an orange corrector to cancel out our darkness. We just need a shade that's going to help neutralize the darkness underneath the eyes so that it looks more like on the same level as your skin. And then that way when you go and apply a concealer over top of it, first of all, you won't need as much concealer. And second, you're gonna be good with concealing the under eye darkness. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if I use a heavy like orange corrector, or in the past when I have used these, I find them harder to conceal, like to cover up, because essentially when you're applying orange corrector underneath your eyes, all you're doing is changing the color underneath your eyes to something completely different. And sometimes depending on what concealer you're using, that can be hard to cover up. You're gonna need more concealer to cover up the orange, just like you would need more concealer to cover up the darkness. So I'm gonna use number 2 from KKW Beauty. I'm gonna use that over here. And I'm gonna use my Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector in the shade medium to deep over here. All right, and I'm gonna blend this out with my finger over here. I used the sponge last time. You see, 2 is more than enough to hide the darkness without altering the color underneath the eyes completely. If I had a deeper complexion, like let's say I was tan or more on the deeper side, then I could see using an orange corrector or a red if you're really deep. But I'm not, so I don't feel the need to use a really orange corrector or a red corrector. Peach works perfectly. All right, so now I'm gonna apply a little bit of foundation and I will be right back. All right, I'm back. Foundation is on. It is time to conceal. Now, last time that we used this KKW Beauty concealer, we used a lot. We used a lot because we were following along with a tutorial. This time, I'm not gonna use as much because I don't feel like we need as much with this concealer. It's very high in coverage. It's very blendable. It looked really nice. Just gonna apply it here to the darker areas and then a little bit up here. So again here and out here. And I'm gonna take my trusty deluxe crease brush from Real Techniques and blend it out. Yeah, you see, we did not need as much concealer and it looks great. Looks really good. All right, now this side. All right, so now that that's blended out, let's set this concealer. All right, so I'm taking my Soft Blend number 50 brush from Sigma Beauty. And on this side, I'm using my Fenty Pro Filter setting powder. This one's in the shade Butter. Just taking some of that with my brush and setting this right side. Now on this left side, we are going to be using her bake powder. I'm going to be using it as a setting powder, not baking at all with this. This has, unlike Butter, which is a little bit more yellow, this one is a little bit more on the pink side. So let's see what that looks like under the eyes. All right, so that looks great. Now I don't typically brighten the under eye area, like I would leave it like this and I'm fine with that, but we are going to do it for today. So I'm just taking a little bit of that with my Soft Blend. This is the number 40 from Sigma and just brightening it up a little bit. I'm gonna do it on both sides. I don't typically brighten, so I don't have, the only other brightening powder that I have is from Dragon Beauty. So we're just gonna use this on both sides. All right, so now that the under eye area is done, officially done, I'm going to zoom you guys in so that you can get an up close look underneath the eyes. All right, so here we are. I think both sides look pretty similar, right? Maybe a little dry, and I feel like it looks a little bit drier over here than it does on this side. I don't know, what do you guys think? All right, so now that my makeup is completely done, I'm gonna start my day. It is currently 11:39 in the morning. I'll come back and check in about maybe 4 hours or so, like 4 or 5 hours, see how the concealer is doing underneath the eyes. Hopefully it wears well. It looks good right now, but we've seen it happen before where it looks great in the morning and then, you know, come afternoon time, the concealer just takes a complete nosedive. So anyway, I'll see you guys back here in a few hours. All right, so I'm back for a quick midday check-in. It is, what time is it? It is 3:31, which means that I've had this on for, I wanna say 4 hours, like almost 4 solid hours, right? Anyway, let me zoom you guys in so that you can get a better look underneath the eyes after 4 hours of wear. All right, so here's the under eye area. I am not too thrilled about it, not extremely disappointed as of right now, but not too thrilled with the way that it's looking. To me, it just looks like it's kind of separating, the concealer is, and it's kind of the same on both sides. What do you guys think? So that's the current situation. Not too thrilled about the way that it looks. Like I said, it just looks like it's separating a little bit. I want to say more so on this side than this side. Let me just blend it out a little bit. This is the blending brush that I used earlier underneath the eyes. I'm going to try to just smooth things out a little bit underneath the eyes, just so that I can continue to wear this without it driving me crazy. Because it is kind of separating underneath the eyes, you're starting to see like the darkness peek through underneath both sides, really. Okay, so that helped things look a little more wearable. Not the best, but just wearable. So I'm gonna continue to wear this for about another 4 hours to give it an 8-hour day. And yeah, we'll see what we are left with at the end of the night. So I'll see you guys back here in a few more hours for my final thoughts on the KKW Beauty under eye products. All right, so I am back for my final check-in. It is currently 7:06. I've had this on now for almost, I'm like 30 minutes shy of 8 hours, I believe, 30 minutes or something like that. So it's been a full day. I can't wait to wash everything off and just call it done. But of course, I had to come back, check in one last time, show you guys some more close-ups, and yeah, deliver my final thoughts on this concealer. So let me zoom you guys in so that you can get a better look under the eyes after almost 8 hours of wear. All right, so here it is. Not looking so great, right? It continued to separate underneath both eyes. And yeah, it looks dry, continued to separate. So unfortunate. All right, so there you have it. It's a no. It's a no from me. After using it 3 different ways, no from me. Using it the way that I did during my first review, I feel like the concealer stayed in place. Like everything seemed to stay in place, but I did lose coverage. I did lose coverage with the baking. Everything felt really dry and uncomfortable underneath the eyes. So I was not a fan of that. I would never use it like that again. Using it the way that I did today, underneath both eye areas, I just couldn't get it to work. This is the way that I use my concealers, like my Holy Grail concealers. They all stay in place. Everything looks great underneath the eyes when I use my concealers this way, minus the brightening powder, because I don't typically do that, but everything stays in place. Everything looks great all day long. I couldn't get this one to do that. I just couldn't. And of course, using it with the KKW corrector, the baking powder, and all of that over here, it looks worse over here than it does over here. But the concealer definitely moved around. We lost coverage. I can't wait to wash it off. Unfortunately, it's a no. No from me. So that completes today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed today's product review, number 2. Our second take at this concealer, and that you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future videos, and also don't forget to follow me over on Instagram, where I absolutely love to interact with you guys. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah! Bye.